Well, hello, my Scorpio friends. This is Dr. Shiny here. I have a tarot reading, general reading for the month of April for you. And, shut that um, and I'm considering whether or not I should go to 2 readings a month and do a mid-month reading as well as the beginning of the month. Please let me know in the comments what you think about that, if you think 1 month is enough. Okay, I'm going to get straight into your reading today. The current situation is the Three of Swords, and the Three of Swords indicates a period of sometimes heartbreak, melancholy, depression, something like that, or sadness, feeling of loss, but it's generally a feeling of loss that comes with a positive note as well. That is, every time you choose a path, every time you choose to move towards something good, you're leaving behind or moving away from a lot of other good things as well. So there's always inherently the opportunity for you to sort of grieve or be sad about a situation that did not come to pass, right? But what's crossing you in the, so the thing about that is it does mean that you're moving toward a vision or a goal, or you're mobile. So it's overall a good thing, even though it's easy for you to get caught in the well of sadness in that. It's kind of like gravity, you know what I mean? So that's something that you just have to keep in mind to be able to put things in perspective and know that you are really moving towards something that you want in the long run. But anyway, the Seven of Swords is what's crossing you or influencing you, and this card represents a sort of feeling that you need to be covert, that you need to get away with something, that there's something you need to hide from people and move very quickly, that type of thing. Hard for me to say what that is. That's something that you're trying to keep hidden, so there's that. But what's been in the past, or the situation, what's got you to where you are, is the Ten of Coins. And the Ten of Coins represents like a command of material possessions. This is accomplishment and success in a financial or material sort of way. So it's not necessarily a ton of money. This can be like dream home, right? You have a nice home in the suburbs with a swimming pool and that kind of thing. You've got the thing that you wanted, right? Um, or that people say that you should want. So there's that. There's the Ten of Coins has got you to the place that you're in now. And what's in your future, if you can get over what's crossing you, this feeling like you need to hide perhaps your feelings or something like that, if you can get over that, you'll find the King of Cups, which will describe either somebody in your future or you in the future, who is a person who's in command of their emotions. They feel their emotions very deeply. They get sad, they get angry and those types of things, but they don't necessarily wear them on their exterior. They use them as fuel internally to drive them toward a specific goal or something like that. Um, what I have for the foundation of the situation is the Moon. And the foundation of the situation is sort of like the domain whose ground this situation is built on, in a way. This is the intuition, the Moon. This is subconscious information, things that you don't remember, you remember, but you do. You know, those types of things. And this can be small context cues that are hidden from you in your subconscious mind that you have to just sort of self-reflect, meditate to be able to pull up. This is mystery, intuition, um, nighttime, darkness, that type of thing. But it doesn't have a negative connotation so much as it has an unknown connotation. So this is mystery, people not really knowing what you're about, that type of thing. This may be what you're being taught through this situation. It's like this sense of this balance when it comes to mystery and intuition, you know. What's in your higher thoughts, your crowning thoughts, is the King of Wands. And the King of Wands is somebody on your mind who, it could be you as well, but somebody on your mind who is in control of others through influencing or inspiring them. So he gives them visions. If his friend is a musician or something like that, he gives them an idea for a song or something like that rather than holding on to it himself. And through doing this, he creates alliances with people, and he creates allies, people who are willing to have his back because he's given them things. He's given them visions and stuff like that. He may not even be necessarily the kindest or best friend, but he has he's definitely given them some measure of value in their life that they wouldn't have had without him. So he's appreciated. He's backed up. Your advice for the current situation is the Ace of Wands. And the Ace of Wands indicates a new opportunity, a new way to be happy, a new way of getting what your heart truly desires, your will, a new path presented before you. And in the advice card, what this is saying is to treat this, whatever the situation is, treat this as an opportunity for growth, for being closer to the lifestyle that you want to be happy with. There's that. In the current environment, it is the Five of Coins. And the Five of Coins represents poverty, but often poverty as the result of your own choices or actions or decisions. There's also the feeling that there is actually help around if somebody would ask, but because of fear, or fear of ridicule, or looking silly, or you know, just anything like that, you're straying away from the help that is available. But this is in your current environment, so this doesn't mean necessarily that it's you that's straying away from it, straying away from help, not asking for help, but somebody isn't, and help is around. So that's the general environment there. Your fears card is the Devil. The Devil. And so the fears are, well, it's pretty obvious, you know, for that card to be in the fears for a lot of people, but what some people don't recognize is that the Devil is simultaneously your best friend and your worst nightmare. And there's a reason for that, because by showing you things, and when I speak of the Devil, I mean this tangible force that some people get the idea. They feel that somebody is picking out their worst nightmares, the things that sort of push their buttons and get them worked up, get them anxious, that type of thing. And he's taking that stuff that's in your mind and throwing it back up to you in such a way that it's meant to like throw you off balance, to make you upset or something like that, or to make you act irrationally. And it is sort of true that that is the intent of the feeling, right? But through resisting that feeling, through resisting by looking at it in the face and not being afraid of it, and then asking why, you know, why why do I react? Why do I have such a strong emotional reaction to what's happening right here in front of me? And then you sort of look behind the curtain of your emotions, and you find that there's a valuable lesson behind everything that scares you, behind everything that it terrifies you. One of my favorite sayings is that like behind or every single one of your dreams is hidden behind a door called fear, or something to that effect, which is just to say that fears have a purpose, and to be afraid of fears, to be afraid of being caught and trapped in the illusion is good if you are really still stuck in the illusion, but there comes a point where you recognize that the illusion exists for a reason, that the terror exists for a reason, that if you can be phased in some way, maybe you should be phased, right? And so try not to be so afraid of the devil. He cannot hurt you. He can only convince you to hurt yourself. That's the problem, is that the whole idea, the whole type of influence that he's dealing with here is just essentially an act, something that's saying like, or it's like a lion that doesn't have any teeth is the way like the Bible describes it, for example, who's just sitting there roaring and trying to make you afraid, but really he can't do anything. And if he can make you afraid enough so that you hurt yourself, that's when he wins. But it doesn't happen very often because humans are pretty clever. And we figured out a lot of ways to negate his influence. So now his influence is a lot more subtle, right? This is getting people to kill themselves over really long periods of time by getting them to ingest chemicals that are bad for them, but, you know, it seems to have a short-term health benefit or something like that, right? So that's his influence, how his influence has shifted now. If you were alive in a different time period where values and things were different, you may have quite literally felt like you were seeing the devil all the time or something like that. But it just depends on your mentality a little bit. It's an aspect of your brain is the problem. It's part of your psyche, your mentality that's there, and everybody has it. Everybody. And it's really just our variation as people, in a way, comes from our ability to coexist or cope with this force, with this aspect of your brain, this one part. And the different types of people are, in effect, different ways that people have dealt with this influence, with this force. And so it gives us a tremendous amount of variation in beauty, and there are lessons to be learned from every type of person who is under this type of influence, and we all are. So you can look at it as a negative, or you can also look at it as like a teacher, a learning experience that's in the form of something scary, that's in the form of something unpleasant, you know. But your overall message is the Hierophant. And this suggests that you're kind of being you're being told that there is a purpose in institution, like religious institutions, things like that, marriage. There's a purpose in those things, but that purpose is not always served by the institutions themselves, right? So people get so involved with the game that they forget what like the ultimate goal is, or it's like money, forgetting that money is meant to be spent, right? It's meant to make people happy, and it's not about just the money itself, like it's not about who can get the most money, it's about who can be the happiest, really. So you have to remember that. And the Hierophant, or the Pope in some interpretations, is all about embracing the sort of mythological, or creating a mythological explanation or allegory or just idea that people can get behind to channel your will, and it has some value. And one of those values is in explaining to you, for example, like I had in you fear the devil as your fears card. One of the ways that you can work through your fear of such a force, if you find it afflicting you, is by going to the institutions that have experience with this, who just by virtue of what they are have attracted these types of experiences. And you'll find that a lot of it looks to be hokey, or like foolish, or hoax, you know, but there is elements of truth in everything, and you will begin to see the commonalities between others' experiences and the things that you've experienced, And know that that doesn't necessarily mean that those people are spot on, that they can explain what's happened to you, but they have lessons that you can learn about it contextually. You know what I mean? Like, you can learn how they deal with these types of things um, through their methods, and then figure out how those methods apply to you in your life. You know. So anyway, that's your reading for today. Pretty good one. Let me know if you have any comments or questions in the comment section, and I will see you next month.